What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? My, oh my, me, oh my, oh me, oh my, oh me, oh my. Man, does it feel good to be here today. How are you all doing so far? It is yours truly, Ricky Tiki Tavi, back in the building as per usual. How you guys doing so far, man? I'm here with you on PSTARS Radio. The time is now 10:35 a.m. Yeah, man. God is good all the time, and all the time He's even better. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are doing great. How are you guys doing with your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health? Are you guys doing the best that you can to manage or take care of these things as much as possible? I surely hope that you are doing so because, make no mistake, nobody's going to manage these things as much as possible like you, right? It's your life, it's your body, and it's your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health. So I do hope that you guys take these things very, very serious to the best of your ability because, again, nobody can care for you better than you can care for you. Or actually, there is one person that can care for you better than you can care for yourself, and that is God, right? So, yeah, but aside from that, I hope you guys are doing the best that you can at managing, again, your mental, physical, and your spiritual health, all right? So that is that. I want to jump right in. I want to jump right into the U.S. Tennis Open Run, man. Look, so I want to speak about the main event, or the main player, should I say, who I'm more familiar with, right? And that player is Venus Williams. So we know that Venus Williams has made her appearance at the U.S. Tennis Open Run, and she went up against her competition, which I believe was Carolina Mukova. I don't want to sound like I'm butchering the name, but I think I kind of am butchering the name. But again, the player that she was supposed to, or the player that she did go up against for her competition was Carolina Muchova, and sadly, Venus Williams has been defeated in that matchup against Carolina, with her ending with here's the scores, right? Here's the final score. So for the first set, Venus finished off with 3 and Carolina finished off with 6, right? And then the second set, Venus Williams was able to come up strong with 6, while Carolina came up with 2. But unfortunately, at the very last run, Venus was only able to finish off with 1, while Carolina Mukova only finished, well, I said only, but Mukova finished off with 6. So you can see that Carolina Mukova came up with most of the points, ending off the match between her and Venus Williams, which ultimately ended with Venus Williams being defeated by Carolina. So, listen, again, she played her heart out. She did her best. But again, still remembered as one of the greatest players to ever play the sport of tennis. So, listen, all power to her. Congratulations to Carolina. I believe her, where is she coming out of? Carolina. I'm curious where she's coming out of. The Czech Republic, if I'm not mistaken. Her hometown is Olomouc, Czech Republic. So I believe that's where she's coming out of. Well, so yeah, her coming from where she's coming out of to go toe to toe, head to head, face to face against one of the greatest players to ever play, which is Venus Williams. Came out there and delivered, and she came out with a dub. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to her defeating Venus Williams. Again, you can't really say too much about Venus herself because, again, everybody knows her as one of the greats. her alongside her sister Serena Williams. So yeah, man, it's nothing to be, at least in my opinion, nothing to be very, should I say, shocked about, right? But nonetheless, all these players came out. They came out and they played hard. And again, congratulations to the winners that came out on top, defeating their opponents. All right. And then I believe for today's matchup, we have the men's, because the U.S. Tennis Open run isn't gonna be, I believe, over until what, maybe early next month, early to mid next month, somewhere around that time, because I think these are championship matches, right? So I believe maybe early to mid next month. I might be wrong here. Do not quote me, but I might be wrong here, okay? But that's what it's looking like so far. I believe it's been carried out. The U.S. Tennis Open run has been carried out, what, August 18th? I believe it started around August 18th. Yeah, maybe August 18th, all right? So around August 18th to like maybe early to mid next month, where we can probably see like a conclusion for the U.S. Tennis Open run. Again, I might be wrong, but that's just what I think so far based off of what I know, okay? So that's what we have for the U.S. Tennis Open run. The matches that we have, I believe, for today. So I see the men's. We have the men's. What about the women? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. There's a whole lot. There's a whole set of matches for today. I'm not gonna dive too deep into what each matches are going to be, but they look like they have a whole plate, a whole plate on their hands for matches between men's and women's. So if you're interested in tuning into the U.S. Tennis Open run, I would advise that you do so, because again, these all seem to be very talented players coming from around the world, meeting up at one spot to see who can contend to win this year's the championship for the U.S. Tennis Open run. All right, so again, stay tuned into that. Seems exciting on that end. Now we're going to move on to the NFL. So we have some news. We have some big news here for Micah Parsons, right? So Micah Parsons, who's coming out of Cowboys, who has recently been traded from the Cowboys, is now going to be playing with the Packers. Yes, that is correct. Micah Parsons is going to be playing alongside the Packers with, I believe, 4-year, $188 million contract, right? Seems to be one of the top players for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, whatever the reason could be, whatever the reason or circumstances could have arisen from that situation, which has prompted the Cowboys to trade Micah Parsons, I have no clue. It could have been a decision that could have been made between the player, or made from the player himself, and him probably, deciding to leave the Dallas Cowboys organization himself. I don't know. But again, the conclusion or the decision is that Micah Parsons will now be playing with the Packers for this upcoming season of the NFL. And I'm not too familiar with this player himself and what he's capable of, or what he's able to do. I'm not sure how much of a contribution I'm not sure how much of a contribution he has brought to the Dallas Cowboys, but this guy definitely seems to be how can I say, an important piece that the Packers could need in order to, who knows, make it all the way to the NFL playoffs and possibly secure a spot in the Super Bowl. Who knows? This is way too early of a prediction for me to make it a possibility, right? Because, again, we don't truly know anything yet until the regular season of the NFL starts, we are now currently in the preseason of the NFL right now as we speak. So only time will tell, all right? Only time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see what this individual or what this particular player can do to help the Packers advance all the way to the playoffs and eventually, if possible, to the NFL Super Bowl. I don't want to say if possible as if it can't happen. It definitely can happen because, again, I don't know too much about this player. I don't know what he's capable of. I need to do my own research on Micah Parsons myself. But, again, anything can happen. But that's just me, all right? Anything could happen with the decision that's been made for Micah Parsons to play with the Packers, all right? So, again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Another big news for the NFL so far, so Shiloh. I'm not sure if you're all familiar with one of Deion Sanders' son that goes by the name Shiloh Sanders. Unfortunately, it seems to be the case where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be officially waiving Shiloh Sanders from the team. For those of you who do not know what that means, Shiloh Sanders has been cut from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, it seems to be the case that the reason why he has been cut from the team happens to be because of an altercation that has taken place in one of the preseason matchups with the Bucs and who else? The Bucs and it was another team. Hold on, just one. I think it was the Bills. Okay, so it was a scuffle between the Bucs and the Bills. Well, between Shiloh and another player in the preseason going up against the Bills with a player from the tight end of the Bills by the name of Zach Davidson. So it seems to be the case that there was a scuffle during that preseason matchup in which Shiloh Sanders decided to make the poor decision that he made to throw a punch at that particular player, which then resulted in him being ejected from that particular game at that time. And so it seems to be that may have been one of the reasons or a leading factor. Again, there could be more to the reason as to why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers decided to, waive Shiloh Sanders, but this seems to be one of the prominent reasons that resulted or could have resulted in him being waived by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? So it's unfortunate. It's very much so unfortunate that, Shiloh had to have been cut the way that he had been cut. And as of now, there doesn't seem to be a clear route or a clear direction as to which team will be taking him or which team he will be playing before the start of the regular season of the NFL, because we don't have until early or mid-October, right? Could be early or mid-October until the regular season of the NFL starts. So there still may be time before then for him to be able to find another team, that will be able to receive him or take him in, right, before the regular season of the NFL. But as of now, it does seem to be the case that he is now he has officially been waived from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's tough. It's tough out here. I mean, here's the thing, right? Granted, with the sport, I mean, this happens in most sports, right? We see a lot of scuffles going on in a lot of sports. Doesn't matter what it is, basketball, football, soccer, so on and so forth. But you don't want to end up taking, or you don't want to end up, making poor decisions that could end up resulting in you getting in situations like this, right? Situations where now, because of the simple decision that you made or the irresponsible decision that you have made, it has now cost you, it has possibly cost you your future in continuing to play in the league. Because, again, we don't know which team is going to be willing to receive Shiloh Sanders. It might not be that bad. There might be a team that's, waiting with open arms to receive him. Who knows? I don't. But, again, this could potentially cost this young man his career and continuing to play in the NFL. I don't want to make it sound as dramatic as it might seem, right? But again, it's in the best interest of the player to not make certain decisions that could end up, messing up the bag, should I say, right? So hopefully, Shiloh Sanders can find another group or another organization that is willing to receive him, to be able to play for that team before the regular season of the NFL starts. Because again, we are still in the preseason. We're still in the preseason of the NFL. The regular season hasn't started yet, so he still has time. Not too much time left, but he still has time to be able to find a team that he can take refuge in, right, for lack of better terms, so that he can still have a spot, to play for the regular season of the NFL, all right? So that's what it's looking like so far. I believe Deion Sanders gave his statement, or he addressed his statement on behalf of this certain situation with his son, right? But again, it sucks. It's tough all around, but hopefully this can be a lesson learned from this individual player, Shiloh Sanders. Hopefully this can be a lesson learned so that you could start thinking before taking certain actions. I don't know what has probably arisen for that to have happened, right, where punches were thrown, but again, hopefully he learns from this and he makes better decisions moving forward. All right, so that's that for the NFL. Tune into the NFL. Listen, man, the NFL hasn't started yet, right? The NFL has not started yet. I don't have a specific team that you can say I'm rooting for, right? I'm not like this kind of, because I'm just getting into the NFL, right? But I'm going to make the early predictions right now. You guys might think I'm crazy, all right? You guys might think I am crazy, but I'm going to make a prediction, all right? And this prediction that I'm going to make is very simple. It's very simple. Phillies are going back to the Super Bowl. That's what I said. I said it. I'm not taking it back. Phillies are going back to the Super Bowl. I said it. The Philadelphia Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. You can take it how you want it, right? You can marinate it. You can breathe it. You can do whatever you want with that message. But I said it. The Philadelphia Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. But that's just me, all right? Moving on. So, the WNBA is nearing closer and closer to the playoffs, all right? The WNBA is nearing closer to the playoffs. And we now have two teams who have already clinched their spots, two teams who have secured their spots for this year's WNBA playoffs. So for the first team that we have who has clinched their spot, and this seems to be a team that has a very perfect, maybe not perfect, but a very crazy record, a 30 win and an 8-loss ratio. Wow. That is crazy. The Minnesota Lynx, with 30 wins and 8 losses, have now clinched a spot in the playoffs for this year's WNBA playoffs. 30 wins and 8 losses. Whew. That almost, well, maybe not exactly, but this also kind of reminds me of the Golden State Warriors back in 2016, where they had what was the win-loss record ratio? Hold on. Let me see for a minute. Uh, 73 win. Okay, so, yeah, this is, hold on. 30 and 8. Yeah. So this is a night and day difference right here, right? But it almost kind of reminds me, right? the Minnesota Lynx win-loss ratio almost kind of reminds me of the win-loss ratio that the Golden State Warriors had 2016, where unfortunately, we lost that year against the Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. But again, the win-loss ratio for the Warriors that year was 73 wins. 73 wins. I want to make sure I get this right, man, because that year was a crazy run for the Golden State Warriors. Crazy season. Where is it? Because I want to make sure I get this right, man. Hold on. The Warriors winning streak. 24 winning streak. Yeah, so I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah, so it was a 73. Okay, so, right. So it was a win-loss ratio for the Warriors 2016, which is 73 wins. 73 wins and 9 losses. Now, granted, of course, the capacity for the amount of games that are had between the WNBA and the NBA is slightly different in where the NBA has more games than the WNBA. So, you know, this is probably one of the contributing reasons as to why it's like, you know, a night and day difference between the ratios. But again, the win-loss ratio with the Minnesota Lynx, again, with 30 wins and 8 losses, kind of reminds me of the Golden State Warriors 2016 with 73 wins and 9 losses. Listen, man, the Minnesota Lynx clearly were balling this year. Clearly, with that many wins and just so little losses, with 8 losses alone. Yeah, they're definitely balling. And who I believe it's who's that one the one player in the Minnesota Lynx who's just a straight up hooper. I'm trying to figure out her name. I think it's Mafisa. Hold on. Yeah, cause listen, I can't hold you. It's not a lot of players in the WNBA that you can say are hoopers. Cause listen, you got people like Angel Reese and no shade, man. I want to repeat this, no shade, but you got people like Angel Reese who are being overhyped, right? People like Angel Reese who are being overhyped. Granted, she just been into the league. This is her second year in the WNBA. But the Minnesota Lynx, hold on. The Minnesota Lynx got some ballers. Okay, so here's the player, Nafisa Collier. Yo, she is a hooper. This woman right here is a hooper. Now, hold on. So, I'm trying to see her. Come on, man. Okay, so I'm trying to see her stat. Listen, man. This woman is straight up hooping like it's nothing. The stats that we have so far for Nafisa for the regular season is let me see here. Okay, so come on, man. Nafisa Collier. Stat. Okay, so what I'm seeing here so far from Nafisa, we see with Nafisa, she has 23.6 points for the regular season of the WNBA. For her rebounds, she has 7.6% or 7.6 for her rebounds, and then for her steals, 1.8. All right, so I believe her position, for the most part, is a point guard for the WNBA, or specifically for the Minnesota Lynx. But for her position, again, 23.6 for her points, 7.6 for her rebounds, 1.8 for her steals. Yeah, she's hooping. Yeah, she's definitely hooping this year. Like, she's a hooper. And then I believe for her assist as well, 3.4 for her assist, 1.5 for her blocks. All right, so and an average, he's playing an average of 32.9 minutes per game. All right, so listen, people like Nafisa Collier, yo, I'm excited. Listen, I gotta tune into this. I definitely have to tune into this for the WNBA playoffs because again, players like her they're definitely stealing the show. And then the second team who has also secured a spot, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not surprised. I'm definitely not surprised here. But the second team that has secured a spot in the playoffs for the WNBA is the Las Vegas Aces. The Las Vegas Aces has also secured a spot in the WNBA with a record of 26 and 14. All right, so they have 26 wins and 14 losses. So the Las Vegas Aces, I'm not too surprised. And the reason why I say that I am not surprised is mainly for one person and one person only, and that is A'ja Wilson. Listen, if you don't know who A'ja Wilson is by now, I don't know. You're tripping, man. You're definitely tripping. But A'ja Wilson, again, another hooper. She is a certified hooper. Hold on. A'ja Wilson. She is, man. Y'all better stop sleeping on her. Hold on. Yeah, y'all better stop sleeping on her. She's a center too, bro. The stuff that she's doing as a center, well, in the WNBA, the WNBA aspect of things, right? As a center, the things that she is doing, my goodness, man, she is straight up killing it. So right now, for her stats, we see A'ja Wilson with 23.4 points per game, 10.1 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game, and 1.6 steals per game just for the regular season alone. And what do we see for her? Her three-point percentage. Her three-point percentage is 34.6%, and then her field goal percentage is 49.4%. So again, nothing short of a hooper. A'ja Wilson is nothing short of a hooper. I believe she was in attendance, was it last year or the year before? Probably last year for the Olympics. Was the Olympics last year? I believe the Olympics was definitely last year. I don't know. My mind's all over the place. But, yeah, she was in attendance of the Olympics. And like she did over at the Olympics and every other season in the WNBA, it's nothing different for this season as well. So, again, I'm not surprised. A'ja Wilson is, again, a hooper, a certified hooper, a certified baller. And she won the MVP last year. I believe she won MVP last year for the WNBA. So, yo, I'm not gonna lie. People like Nafisa Collier, A'ja Wilson, the recently drafted Caitlin Clark. Who else? Sabrina Ionescu. It's players like these, man. They're hoopers. They're definitely hoopers. So you can't underestimate guys like them. And it's something that I'm, gonna be anticipating for sure. The WNBA playoffs, I'm definitely going to be tuning into that to see what it's going to look like so far. But as of now, it's just these two players that have clinched a spot. There's still more spots left in the WNBA playoffs, so we have to wait and see who else or which other team is also going to secure their spot as well for the WNBA playoffs. But, like I always say, only time will tell. All right, only time will tell. So that's what I have for you now so far for today. I am going to be getting into our verse of the day just to finish off. I'm going to be getting into our verse of the day. All right, so the verse we'll be getting into is Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 31. Again, I repeat, the verse of the day will be Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 31. Mom, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. You are one of the top viewers of the show, so thank you for the support. Not just for my show, of course, also for everybody else's show as well. So thank you for tuning in, Mom. And thank you for everybody that's tuning into the show as well. I really appreciate it. If you can, please share the live on TikTok, Facebook. I am live on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube right now. So if you would kindly share the live, I would really appreciate it. But again, thank you all for tuning in to this morning's show. All right, so again, the verse will be coming from Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 31. I will begin reading. And it reads, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." Excuse me. Please allow me to read that for you just one more time. And it reads, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." So here's the thing that really caught my attention with this. It's the very last sentence, right? The very last sentence with this verse says, there is no commandment greater than these, which signifies the importance, the importance of what God is asking for us to do. That's how important this commandment is. No other commandment is greater than this. And what is he asking us to do? It's to love God more than anything else. Love your God more than anything else, and with all that you have, to love him. But to also love your neighbors as well, right? He's calling us to, in the grand scheme of things, to have love in our hearts. In this world that we live in right now, that's full of hate, envy, jealousy, chaos, so on and so forth. In this world that we live in that is really full of negativity, in the midst of all of this, God is calling upon us to love him with all of ourselves and with everything that we have. But not only to love him, but to also love the person next to us, to also love our neighbors, to also love our families, brothers, sisters, friends, but also our enemies, people that are our enemies, people that, dislike us, people that hate us. It's easier said than done. I brought this up before a couple of times as well when I talk about, loving one another, loving your neighbor, loving your enemy. Especially when it comes to your enemy, it's easier said than done. There are people that we may not there are people that we may not like, that we may dislike because of something that they may have done to us, right? Something that they may have done to hurt us. But nonetheless, God is still calling upon you to love that person. He's still calling upon you to love that person that you may have that may have ill will towards you, to love that person who dislikes you, to love that person who plots against you. God is still calling upon you to love that person. Again, it's hard. I know. It definitely is. But it's still going to be good for your soul to love not just the people that you know, not just family, but also people that you don't know, also your enemies. God calls upon us to love, to have love in our hearts for other people, and to have love in our hearts for him. Of course, for him first, right? To love God with all of our hearts and all of our mind, our soul, our strength, with everything that we have, but to also love your neighbors, to love your friends, your family, and the people, again, the people who hate you, the people who despise you, the people who plot against you, the people, a.k.a., who are your enemy. God calls upon us to love, okay? Bon Dieu dit nous kon sa pou gen l'amour nan kè nou. Gen l'amour pou tout moun. Pas seulement pour famille ou, pas seulement pour zami ou, mais pour tout le monde. Moun qui maltraite ou, moun qui gen jalousie pour tout le monde ça. M'ka comprendre ba ça li capable difficile c'est vrai, mais bon Dieu toujours dit nous comme ça pour nous gagner l'amour pour lui-même et puis l'amour pour tout le monde. C'est commandement ça qui plus gros passer tout l'autre commandement yo. C'est ça le dit dans la Bible. C'est comme ça le dit dans la Bible. Pour gagner l'amour pour tout le monde. Chaque monde à rencontrer, gagner l'amour pour tout net. Okay? So again, have love in your hearts. Have love in your heart for God. Love God with all of yourself and love your neighbors, all right? So, that is all for today. That is all for today. Again, my shows are going to be usually Tuesdays and Saturdays. Saturdays are strictly for sports because you know your boy over here loves sports. I myself am nothing short of a hooper. You already know me. I'm a straight up certified bucket. But hey, that's just me, all right? But again, feel free to tune into my shows every Saturdays for sports. And then on Tuesdays, where I just talk about random stuff, life, school, work, career, doesn't matter, all right? I love you guys as per usual, and I will see you all again next time. Adios.